been a while. I'm currently involved in a massive subflooring remodel, so I have not made videos in a few weeks. But I have been keeping up with some of the news. And I would like to go over a little project that the CIA had called Operation Mockingbird. And I want to be very clear, I am not disclosing any super secret special operations stuff. This is stuff back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s. It's been admitted. I Googled it. I used Google. Okay? It's out there for everybody to read, to see, to thumb through. Google and Wikipedia. So here it is. This Project Mockingbird thing. Let me pull up Wikipedia again. So Operation Mockingbird is an alleged large-scale program of the United States Central Intelligence Agency that began in the early years of the Cold War and attempted to manipulate news media for propaganda purposes. According to author Deborah Davis, Operation Mockingbird recruited leading American journalists into propaganda network and influenced the operations of front groups. CIA support of front groups was exposed when a 1967 Ramparts magazine article reported that the National Student Association received funding from the CIA in 1975. In 1975, the Church Committee Congressional Investigations revealed agency connections with journalist and civic groups. None of the reports mentioned by name Operation Mockingbird coordinating or supporting these activities. Isn't that sweet? So, when you scroll to this, there's a document, memorandum. Let's see, when was this? It was May 2013. So the memorandum on Project Mockingbird, it's called Family Jewels. Yes, Family Jewels. No surveillance, telephone tap, actions. No other actions will be taken by agency personnel in the United States against the United States citizens not connected with CIA under the claimed authority of protection of intelligence sources and methods. This provision of the law, which of course, I can't take that at face value. Maybe that was the case 40, 50 years ago, but this is modern day CIA. We all know the CIA loves giving up their authority and their information. We all know the CIA just quits a project. All of their assets are just kind of shot to the wind. They just, whatever. Let me believe that for a second. I believe one of those guys in a cave in Afghanistan was involved in something, towers and airplanes. I'd have to reread it. So this Family Jewels thing had to do with the CIA was trying to hire a member of the mafia in an attempt to assassinate Fidel Castro. So Mockingbird, and I believe that was Northwoods, if I'm not mistaken. The Bay of Pigs happened, and things didn't go well. This document claims that at no time the private American citizens aren't going to be surveyed or manipulated, and whatever. Anyway, so we get to the Wikipedia page. Operation Mockingbird recruited leading American journalists into a propaganda network and influenced operations of front groups. I already read that. In the early years of the Cold War, efforts were made by governments of both the United States and the Soviet Union to use mass media to influence public opinion internationally. I can already see somebody skirting that using a network like CNN or MSNBC, because you could claim that the broadcast goes out globally, ergo, because it's a global signal, if it is sent out from the country and then I'm using pirate laws, so the signals brought back into the country, well, jurisdictions and stuff. After the United States Senate Watergate Committee in 1973 uncovered domestic surveillance abuses directed by the executive branch of the United States government, and the New York Times in 1974 published Seymour Hersh's article claiming that the CIA had violated its charter by spying on anti-war activists, former CIA officials, and some lawmakers, called for a congressional inquiry that became known as the Church Committee. Published in 1976, the committee's reports confirmed some earlier stories that charged that the CIA had cultivated relationships with private institutions, including the press. So the CIA is influencing the press in 1976. 2020. Without identifying individuals by name, the Church Committee stated that it found 50 journalists who had official but secret relationships with the CIA. Well, if a journalist retires, they need to be replaced because that asset no longer works for that institution. So the CIA needs to maintain its assets in order to continue operations, even if these operations are no longer going on. I mean, technically, we're still in Japan and Germany. What did I say? In 1977, Rolling Stone magazine article, the CIA and the media reported Carl Bernstein expanded upon the Church Committee's report and said that around 400 press members were considered assets by the CIA. 400 press members were considered assets by the CIA in 1977. According to Bernstein, I will make the statement. Anderson Cooper has admitted that he is a CIA asset. Currently. According to Bernstein, by 1953, CIA Director Alan Dulles oversaw the media network, which had major influence over 25 newspapers and wire agencies. Its usual modus operandi was to place reports developed by... Its usual modus operandi was to place reports developed from CIA-provided intelligence and possibly counterintelligence with cooperating or unwitting reporters. Those reports would be repeated or cited by the recipient reporters and would then in turn be cited throughout the media-wired services. These networks were run by people with well-known liberal but pro-American big business and anti-Soviet views. My, how times have changed. In the rising clamor, the American press, the Central Intelligence Agency, and the Cold War, David P. Hadley wrote that the continued lack of specific details provided by the Church Committee and Bernstein's expose provided a breeding ground for some outlandish claims regarding CIA and the press. As an example, he offered unsourced claims by reporter Deborah Davis. Davis asserted in her 1979 biography of Katharine Graham, owner of the Washington Post, Catherine the Great, that the CIA ran an Operation Mockingbird during this time. Davis wrote that the Prague-based International Organization of Journalists received money from Moscow and controlled reporters on every major newspaper in Europe, disseminating stories that promoted the communist cause. and that Frank Wisner, director of the Office of Policy Coordination, a covert operations unit created in 1948 by the United States National Security Council, had created Operation Mockingbird in response to the IOJ recruiting Phil Graham from the Washington Post to return the project. Okay, so the entire Washington Post is CIA run. Done. 1948. That was also Project Gladio. That was some stay-behind networks during and after World War II. And they kind of usurp things as well, intelligence agencies and whatnot. According to Davis, by the early 1950s, Wisner owned respected members of the New York Times. Owned. Newsweek, CBS, and other communication vehicles. Okay, I'd like to know that list. I'd like to see that list. And that makes me wonder, at the time, CNN was not even conceived. It was not in business. Was CNN created specifically for this purpose? I mean, back in the 90s, I remember seeing or hearing about, I'd have to look it up again, the fake Scud videos, the blue screens. We're live here in Baghdad. Oh, put your gas mask on, and the whole thing was fake. They blue screened everything. Davis wrote that after Cordmeyer joined the CIA in 1951, he became Operation Mockingbird's principal operative. Neither the Church Committee or any of the investigations that followed it found there was such an operation as described by Davis. Hadley summarized Mockingbird, Macarena. Mockingbird was, as described by Davis, has remained a stubbornly persistent theory. Hold on. So it's still going. The Mockingbird theory that CIA operated a deliberate and systematic program of widespread manipulation of the U.S. media does not appear to be grounded in reality, but that should not disguise the active role the CIA played in influencing the domestic press's output. Once again, we all know how the CIA likes to just drop a program